Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Mariah and I talk about books and bookish things on my channel. If you're returning, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad to see you guys, and it always fills my heart with joy to see people that I know down in the comments and to talk about books with you. So thank you so much. Quick life update. I know that I haven't been posting. The reason why is because some of the appointments that I was waiting for got moved up, and I ended up having a very small but very uncomfortable procedure done yesterday. So I did a film on Sunday in preparation, and then last week it's been a couple of weeks. 2020 is definitely trying to get the last of her kicks in. Today I wanted to talk about goals and how we did on 2020 goals and where we're going with 2021 goals, and also kind of a discussion about goals. Goals in any community can end up being very competitive, and one of the things that I've found myself doing lately is measuring myself up against people who have been on BookTube for literally years. I haven't been on BookTube for years. I haven't even been on BookTube for a year. March makes my year. And honestly, I've been hearing more and more talk about, and I guess that this is like a sign from the universe or what have you, that subscriber counts aren't really important as long as you're speaking your truth, as well as how many books you read and what kind of books you read. I read a lot of backlogged stuff. I don't read a whole lot of new releases. I don't buy a whole lot of new releases. I think I've only bought 3 new releases this year, and that was The Only Good Indians, which was 5 stars, Mexican Gothic, which was 4.75 stars, and Song of Wrath and Ruin, or Wraiths and Ruin, which I haven't read yet. And honestly, I'm okay with that, and I feel that there's a lot of pressure sometimes, especially in the reading community, to read a lot, to keep up with people who are reading 10, 20, 30 books a month, and that if you're not doing that and you're not reading the most up-to-date stuff and you're not taking place in all of the readathons and read-alongs that are going on, that you are somehow failing. Now, being relatively new to the BookTube community, I wasn't around for a lot of the readathons, or even the ones that there were, they weren't really something that really touched my interest a lot. And I found that trying to keep up with readathons and trying to keep up with my TBR game, which I love, was too much, and I was taking on too much, and I was becoming more like a job. And this month, I barely wanted to read at all, and I found myself telling myself I had to catch up. And my husband was the one who pointed out to me. He said, you're making it sound like it's your job, and it's not. I have a full-time job, and that's stressful enough. And my hour is about to change for 2 months for training, and then I go back to working nights. And honestly, in a managerial position, I don't have a lot of time to read at work anymore. And I feel like I'm holding myself to this impossible standard. And with that in mind, we're going to move into the 2020 reflection. So in 2020, I wanted to read 50 books, and I doubled that. I think I'm at 111 right now. I haven't put in any of my new stuff, so I really don't know. I also wanted to diversify my shelf, learn more about the history of oppression in the United States, and to focus on my Owl Crate books. So, goal number 1, I smashed it. We're good. Thank you, quarantine, for that. And some great, great books this year. I also found myself reading much more diversely. Some of my top books of the year were by BIPOC authors, and that's amazing. And I find myself seeking out books that are more diversely. I'm also reading more diversely in age categories. I read everything from children's picture books to adult fantasy this year and adult horror, and I loved it. I loved how diversely, I loved all the different things. It helped me connect with my sister more, which is always important to me. And it also introduced me to some fantastic authors and some books that I would have never found otherwise. A great example is The Gauntlet, which was just, I read last month and was like mind-blowingly amazing. I also found that I like doing tags, but they're tags. I wanted to post 2 times a week. I didn't do that because life happened and 2020 is just 2020 and I should have known better. But I love doing these videos. I love talking about books, especially with a community that also enjoys books. I love telling you guys what I'm drinking that day, which, in case you're wondering, is Café Du Monde, which I bought at the store, not in New Orleans, because I like who I have become in 2020. I like the fact that this year forced me into introspection and forced me to take things like therapy much more seriously. What I don't like is that I found myself caught up in the same routines that make people dislike reading. I was forcing myself to read things that I don't like. I found myself questioning whether or not I should DNF books, which I don't do. When I was younger I did a lot, but as I got older, I don't question whether or not I'm DNFing a book. If I think I should DNF a book, I'm going to DNF a book. And I found myself wondering if maybe I'm just not giving these books enough chances, which is ridiculous. So in 2021, I am going to do a few things. First, I'm going to limit the number of books that I am required to read every month, and I'm going to remove the punishment book altogether. I have anxiety as it is. I don't need a punishment book to tell me that I failed last month's goals. Additionally, I'm implementing a brand new TBR game, and I'm physically limiting the number of books that I can get in that TBR game. I think the most books I can pull from the TBR game at any one time is 11 books, and there'll be an explanation of that later. Additionally, I want to tackle some of the things that intimidate me. So I want to host a read-along. I want to finally read Les Mis, which I haven't, and it's just this giant hulking book staring at me. But I want to at least give it a shot. So I will announce those read-alongs later. I also want to keep doing the things that I've been doing this year. I want to focus on reading diversely. I want to focus on continuing to learn, especially about pressing topics such as what's going on in the world, and to be more of a global citizen. I also want to I would like to grow my community, but that's not a goal this year or next year. I am honestly focusing on my reading and what I want to read, and focusing on my physical TBR and keeping up with the books that I'm bringing in so that I'm never overwhelmed. So that's my goals for 2021. I really want to remind you guys, or I really want to remind y'all, that you don't have to read as much as I do. You don't have to read as much as Becca from Becca in the Books, or Lala from Kayla from Books and Lala, or anybody. Read what you want to read. Come up with your own TBR game. I was doing polls from my TBR game, which were completely separate from my own, for my friend Julia this year to kind of help her focus her TBR. Read what you want and let new things into your life. Growth happens outside of your comfort zone, and I think that's really important to remember. So for 2021, show compassion for yourself and don't measure yourself against everybody else. measure yourself against whether or not you're accomplishing and becoming who you want to be. And that's my 2021 goals for BookTube. I know they're super boring, but I'll send some more announcements soon. You can find all my social media down below. If you liked this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell for more notifications if you want to see more of this face when I'm not in like actual physical pain in your inbox. And I will see all of you guys next time. Until then, all the best coffee, wine, and books to you. Cheers.